You know you're a people pleaser. You know that this is a pattern that is blocking you from moving forward, but you don't know how to stop. If this sounds like you, then stick around, because in this video, I'm going to share with you how to actually move on from people pleasing. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video on moving on from self-sabotage to self-love. You know that hairstylist that you tell everything to about your life and your relationships? Well, for 15 years, that was me before I started my business as a self-love coach, helping people pleasers break the patterns of self-sacrifice and self-sabotage that are keeping them in toxic cycles of toxic relationships and holding them back from living a life of authenticity, a life that feels truly aligned and fulfilling. And now I want to share all that I've learned with you so that you can break these patterns and move on to healthy love, starting with the relationship you have with yourself. I'm going to start by saying that people pleasing isn't always necessarily a bad thing. It is nice to show up for the people that you love. It's a good thing to be of service, to be a helpful human in the world. The problem is when it becomes this default mode, when you have this almost compulsion to be and do everything for everybody at a cost to your own time and energy and maybe even money. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on why you are this way. As a coach, I like to focus on the present and the future rather than the past, because ain't nothing we can do about that. But we can make some changes in how we go forward. But in a nutshell, I will say that showing up as a people pleaser really is rooted in our childhood, in the dynamics that we grew up with in our households. And you developed this pattern of people pleasing as a way to protect yourself. So have some compassion for yourself. You did this in order to cope and to survive. But now you are a grown-ass adult and you get to decide how you want to move forward. And I'm going to share with you some tips on how to do that. People pleasing is this long-running, well-worn pattern that is keeping you from doing what you actually want because you just don't know how to say no without feeling guilty or terrified. I get it. This was me for a long time. I am a recovering people pleaser. For most of my adult life, I was an absolute doormat in my friendships, with my clients, and especially in romantic relationships. But I have learned the skills and the tools to overcome this pattern so that I can show up honestly and fully in my life. There's always still more work to do. I'm just gonna throw in that caveat. I have not arrived at this, place of completion, but I'm much further along the path than I was. And I am far more practiced and comfortable with setting boundaries that protect my time and energy. I want to share these tools and skills with you today. So step number 1 is buying yourself some time. While you are putting this new and unfamiliar skill to practice, it can help to have some canned phrases that you can pull out of your back pocket to buy you some time while you figure out how you really want to respond. So let's use a simple example. Somebody asks you to attend an event with them. Your automatic response will be to say yes, right? That's why you're here watching this video. But maybe it's not really a yes. Maybe it is, but you need some time to figure this out rather than just defaulting to people-pleasing mode and saying yes, and then finding out that you don't really want to go, and now you're just spending the whole time dreading it or feeling resentful that you have to go, and then potentially even bailing at the last minute, which is honestly the worst thing you could do. Right? It's far worse to bail at the last minute than to just say no at the beginning. So try some of these phrases, memorize them, have them at the ready so that you can just pull them out of your back pocket when the opportunity arises. So you could say something like, thanks for the invite. I'm going to check my schedule and I'll get back to you. Or, thanks for thinking of me. I just got to check on something and then I'll let you know by tonight. Fill in time span here. Or you could say, that sounds fun or interesting or cool or exciting. Fill in the adjective here. I'm just in the middle of something right now, so let me get back to you when I can give you my full attention, right? Whether this is verbal or via text, doesn't matter. It's about buying yourself that time to really check in with yourself. So that brings us to step number 2, which is checking in with yourself. So notice, what is your initial reaction to this request? What thoughts are coming up? What feelings are coming up? It can help too to really zoom out and take a look at your week or your month. What is going on in your life? What will your energy allow? What do you have the capacity for? What is realistic for you? Do you have the time, the energy, the capacity to say yes to this? Will you be able to show up fully for this? Do you even want to? That's valid. So take the time to check in with your honest thoughts and feelings and energy level until you feel clear on what your answer is. Step number 3 is to then communicate clearly what your response is. So if it's a yes, a true, honest yes, then hooray, let them know. They'll be delighted. And if it's a no, you don't need to give a lengthy explanation for why it's a no. You don't owe anybody that. There's a phrase I heard recently that I really love, which is, no is a complete sentence. Now, if you are a people pleaser, that's going to be really hard to do, to go from a dissertation on why it's a no to just a no. You're giving this long list of reasons why it's a no might even open up a conversation that sort of becomes a negotiation, right? You give their reasons and they counter with, oh yeah, but if you just did this, then it could work, right? And this is not a negotiation. This is you stating clearly your response, right? So you want to keep this clear, short, and decisive. So here are some examples of what that might look like. Thank you for the invite, but I am not available at that time. Or that sounds really fun, but I'm not going to be able to make it this time. And if you really mean it, you could add, but please try me again next time. Or if this is a favor that's being requested of you, you could say something like, I know you're in a really tough spot right now, but I'm just not able to do it at this time. You're acknowledging where they are, but you're clearly stating what your limits are. Now, if you do want to help, if this is a relationship that's meaningful to you, you could do a counter offer of a time or a way that you are able to help them. So I'm not able to help you at this time or in this way, but I can offer you this. And now, depending on the type of relationship that you have with this person, you could be a little more transparent. So that could look like, it's just been a long week and I just really don't have the energy for this, or I just wouldn't be very good company, or I need to take this time to just recharge and relax. People with healthy boundaries respect healthy boundaries, which brings me to step 4. Let go of their response and focus on you. I know this is very counterintuitive to your default mode of people pleasing, but this is what needs to happen here. You cannot control how people are going to receive your response. This may be as unfamiliar and as uncomfortable for them as it is you, especially for the people who've been benefiting from your lack of boundaries. This will be really difficult at first as you struggle with the guilt and the discomfort of speaking up and showing up for yourself. This may feel really selfish at first, but with time, as you exercise this muscle, it will get easier. You need to give yourself a chance for this to become more familiar to you. And until then, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. So you just have to trust the process. For the people that you trust and love, you can be more transparent with them. Let them know up front that you're going to be showing up in a new way. You're spending more time on protecting your time and energy going forward. This is setting an expectation so that it's not as jarring for them when it happens in real time. This goes back to having clear communication. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't owe anyone an explanation. But for those that you have a safe and loving and trusting relationship, there's no harm in sharing your process with them. But just remember that everyone's reaction to your boundaries is a reflection of their relationship with boundaries. The healthier their boundaries are, the more they will respect yours. And the unhealthier their boundaries are, the more pushback and resistance you will get from them. Again, you have no control over how people are going to respond to this. Just know that everyone is on their own journey, and shift your focus to you and celebrate the fact that you are showing up for yourself and you are protecting your own precious time and energy. With time, this new version of yourself will become more familiar to you and the people that you choose to surround yourself with. And a reminder, this doesn't mean that you have to stop showing up for people. It's just about recognizing that you don't have to be everything for everybody and developing the ability to check in with your capacity at any given moment. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope you got some good tips from this. If so, please drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your takeaways are. If this brings up any questions, please, again, drop them in the comments. I'm always happy to connect with you and engage. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. There'll be more videos on this topic and topics like it coming every week. You might even want to check out one of these videos here next. And that's all for now. Sending love. Mwah.